Good evening and welcome to the Hendrick Hudson Board of Education meeting for September 13th, 2017. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I please have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Yes. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Fiscal. We have some donations that were very generous. We have a donation for $740 for the Furnace Woods Elementary School. It's a matching donation from New York Life, and we thank them very, very much for that. We also have another donation from the HHCF, the Educational Foundation, for $2,424.05. Okay, and that was for the Frank G. Lindsay School to help fund their outdoor learning fund program, and also to help purchase various musical instruments for the Summer Stars program. So we thank everybody for their extremely generous donations.
And we need a separate, just a motion to accept those.
All right,
And
can I
there's-
please have a motion to accept the donations?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, audience comments? If you have a comment, you have to come up to the podium and just state your name, please.
Right up to this. Right here?
To the microphone, man.
But that probably is me understanding only Spanish and English.
That's okay, you can look as you can, that's
I
okay.
can translate.
Oh, and Mr. Cattermole.
Enrique can help you.
Que bueno, gracias.
Gracias a usted.
Y después, usted como de que puede decir, ¿de qué se trata? O hablando de tenerse una vida.
No, pero estoy preguntando. Quería saber si usted quiere candidato acerca de lo que quiere. Usted,
Si se quiere, pero que se trata. Ayuda a alguien.
lo que usted quiera, usted puede hablar de lo que usted
La vida como ahora que necesitan de pasar por este accidente por Florida, por esta vida, deberíamos de ser una vida.
quiere. ¿Por qué comienza y dice su nombre?
En primer lugar, disculpa que no comprendo mucho inglés, no comprendo 1%. More important is to speak Spanish for me, but anyway, yes, thank you very much. First time for my kids to help you, teachers, that is very important for me, and God help you for you guys. And my name is Carmen G. Maita. We come from Franklin, State Maita. Thank you very much, but teacher for help for him, and then we come for you guys need help you for Texas, for Florida. That is terrible, you know. That's, the people need help. I see the TV, but a lot of people's crying, you know, the old people, the little kids, you know, and then the adult, the animals. But I pray for God, please help me for these guys. My language is not speak very well, but you guys understand well. Please, you help you. But I may not have a lot of time, but I have a lot of time. I give it to you. You guys and to, you know, for this country. Please, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Si necesita ayuda, puedo ayudar un poquito.
She wants to help as much as she can with the little she has.
What she wanted to say is that she would like to see if the school can do anything for all the people that are suffering both in Texas and Florida. That she knows of a lot of people that would like to donate, but they don't know where.
Sorry.
Oh, boy.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight and speaking to us. We sincerely appreciate it. Next, we have the superintendent's report.
So, do we respond to we'll figure something out?
Yeah, usually the schools, the question, Laura's question was, what are we doing? And
Give her some kind of
I know
answer.
at the high school, many of the service organizations are collecting money through Red Cross and other areas. I'll check with the elementary schools, but
So
high school and the middle school as well.
So how does she figure out what to do?
Very likely, what school do your children go to? Frank G. Lindsay? Okay, so. In the high school,
High
okay.
school.
So in the high school, they make announcements in the morning about how to help and donate.
Yeah.
So your children will hear that each morning at the high school. At the elementary school, you may get either an email or something sent home with your children about how you can help. So I will check with the principal.
Oh, yeah, tengo la-
Okay, very welcome.
¿Entendió?
Sí, como que dice que va a mandar algo para mi hijo, para yo poder.
En el high school se hacen anuncios todos los días cómo pueden donar. Y en las escuelas primarias van a mandar a casa emails o flyers donde dice dónde puede uno donar.
Ok, es mejor. Sí, para necesitar ahorita ayuda.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the superintendent's report.
Yes, I'm just going to give a couple brief updates, and I'm going to let Margaret get into some detail about our happenings over the summer. But the school year has started. We have many happy parents. Many of the parents I've seen in different venues are so happy that we opened school, so that's a good thing.
The tag you're at.
Yeah, we heard, and with school opening, our sports have begun. In fact, tonight there's a game under the lights, and we found out earlier this afternoon that one of our volleyball players, who's a senior, Zoe Stats, has been named the Con Ed Athlete of the Week. And that's a very big deal. So congratulations to Zoe. And if you're not up to speed on volleyball, or that's not a sport you would watch, make sure you go and see our volleyball team. It is fun to watch. It's quick, it's active, it's engaging, and they are great. I was there the other day. So congratulations to Zoe. It's official. Hen Hub Live has been revived under some different leadership. Some parents of younger children have taken over the helm, and the tentative date is March 3rd at the Factoria, which is the old Crystal Bay.
Yes.
Oh, good.
So that will be March 3rd, 7:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., and those are about the extent of the details. We know that it will be a light dinner or heavy hors d'oeuvres. There'll be music, there'll be silent auctions, there'll be a whole lot of stuff. So a great opportunity to bring our community together. And over the next couple of weeks, we will be very, very busy with Meet the Teacher Night and all of the requisite back-to-school events. So if you're driving by our schools and you see the lights on full of parking, in the parking lot full of cars, it's very likely it's either a PTA meeting or more likely a back-to-school event. So it's been a full week and we're in full swing. And I want to give Margaret an opportunity to give a quick overview of all of the things that happened over the summer. We're trying to move our organization to a place where we're a 12-month organization, even though we only see kids for 10 months. We really increased our programming for kids and opportunities for kids over the summer, and provided more opportunity for staff development and engagement for our teachers. So I'll let her highlight some of those.
So I'll begin by saying that almost everything I'm about to talk about, and I'll delineate for you as I continue, was possible through a very generous grant from Entergy, and that really fueled our summer fun program and our bookmobile. So also thanks to Beth Gruber, who isn't here, but was instrumental and did tremendous legwork to help get this going, and had much to do with the outside vendors that we were able to bring in for the summer fun program. So we had several prongs working this summer for children. We ran, as many of you know, a summer bookmobile, which was an awful lot of fun. Liz Gillio gave us a small school bus, which we decked out and loaded up with texts of all kinds and all reading levels, and teachers signed up 2 at a time to host children at a park for the BV community, a park for the Frank G community, and at Furnace Woods we actually did it on the school's playground. We had no rainouts, so Mother Nature cooperated, and we had 8 days in Buchanan, 7 days in the FG and the FW sites. Our kids' attendance was a little bit lagging at first, and then thanks to Barbara LaFemina,
yes.
one woman PR show, we drummed up lots of business. We were as high as 9 or 10 kids on one day, and probably 1 or 2, but the average was probably about 5 over the course of all the meetings. We had some great feedback from parents and kids too, who were shocked that they could actually take the books home with them. So it was a lot of fun to visit and watch them enjoy their time, and watch the teachers engage with them out of the classroom. So that was a great experience. We're hoping we can replicate that.
Quick question for you. How was that advertised? The
Everywhere. I mean, we did it internally.
I know I saw on Facebook.
Barbara literally put it everywhere. We did flyers for the local businesses to put in their windows, and we did translate it for everybody. Some good suggestions, and one was possibly, if we can do it next year, hooking up with some of the camps and picking a day where we can do an hour at a camp. We intentionally did this for the kids who didn't have the chance to go to camp. But I'd be happy to work with the directors so that we don't interfere with their program, but yet offer that opportunity on site. So we'll see what happens next summer. Then we had the summer fun program, so it was 2 weeks at BD, 2 weeks at Frank G, 2 weeks at Furnace Woods. So we had the whole summer filled with things that kids could do. It was all free. We did ask for a deposit, but that was really motivational to help people come once they handed in their money. All the checks were given back to people after attendance. We had a variety of experiences for kids, from physical activity to drama. We had some nutrition. We had a wide range of people provide those activities, both teachers stepping up and offering something, and outside vendors coming and offering their program in-house. It was very exciting. We had a lot of people who started and then called and said, could we enroll in another class, because the kids have had a great time. So we had 114 children originally registered back in May. 105 of those children actually showed up, so we had a great turnout. And as I said, as the summer wore on, kids that went to week 2 asked if they could sign up for week 3 and 4. And then aside from that was Camp Invention, which runs its own program. We just provided them the students and the location, and Camp Invention ran again. This year we had 82 students and 2 counselors in training work with our teachers on that, and that was wildly successful again. So, that is something we know we can do. So aside from those programs, Title I funded...
And if I can interrupt you just for a minute. If you recall, we went through, Margaret led a team of people going through an analysis of our existing or former elementary summer school program. And we found that attendance was lacking. We found that outcomes were not what we wanted. And so we moved the philosophy of the summer learning program to after school, where we could catch those kids during the day, we could provide transportation for them to get home, but wanted to supplant summer opportunities for kids so that parents had options. So that's how all of these programs that Margaret just mentioned were born out of filling a void that we had been hearing for a really long time, because in the past, we were only able to provide academic-based programs to students who qualified for them, not anything like what we did. So, it was a lot in a short period of time, but that's how it came about.
And did parents have a description of these programs? You know, were they able?
Oh, sure.
Right,
Yes,
and
that's how
that
they
was sent
selected-
home
yes.
to them?
That
Okay.
went home in May, and they chose what
Yeah,
their
no,
children
that's
were attending.
excellent.
And you know, the interesting part about the Summer Fun program, and it was intentional, was that kids were reading and writing, and they just didn't know it. It wasn't homework. We went to one class where they wrote a play, they created commercials, and we kept them engaged, and great feedback. Parents have asked me if we will do it again, which I reminded them this was a grant. And lots of people have asked if we would consider doing it over the February break. So that was great feedback for us. The last thing we did, not that it was the least, but at the end of the summer, we called it a boot camp, and Title I funded 1 week for AIS and ENL kids to bring them back and get them back into the swing of their work. And that happened at Furnace Woods for the elementary children, and then both at the middle school and the high school for those students. We had 61 children come who were either kids who could use a little help with reading, or some of our ELL students, and that was wildly successful as well. So
Was that volunteer? Or did we ask some kids to come?
we invited children specifically, and the teachers who actually the teachers who teach them were the teachers who did that, which was fabulous because they knew pretty much where the kids were and how to pick it up and move it forward quickly. So they found that to be very successful. Again, the parents were thrilled that the kids had that opportunity. And for the boot camp, because of that availability, we did have busing for those students. We couldn't bus for the Summer Fun program. So we were very happy with the work we did. We had about 35 teachers across all content working this summer on curriculum, whether it was writing something new, revising something that existed, getting themselves ready for opening day as teams, so a lot of teamwork. That was awesome to see. So I think we had a very productive summer.
So let everyone know who thinks school districts turn the lights off and close the doors from graduation until opening day. Let them know that's not the case. Everyone says, "Oh, well, your summers are quieter, right?" Well, it's a different sort of busy. So thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very, very much for arranging all of those wonderful programs to help our children and facilitate their learning. Next, we have a presentation, Every Student Succeeds Act, and that's by Lisa Anderson.
So this is comes from Lisa's work with regional advocacy groups and from many different associations representing PTAs, school boards, superintendents, and the Teachers Association. Lisa brought this to us earlier in the summer, and we wanted to have a public on-the-record discussion and determine if the board is interested in passing it so we could send our official support to Albany.
Actually, it would go to the federal government.
To the federal government.
So this is something that will go to Congress and to the Senate. What's happening is as you've I'm sure heard of, is there's serious cuts happening to education budgets at the federal level. And so this resolution is just going on the record stating that we feel that they need to not cut our budgets for Title I, Title II, IDEA, Impact Aid, Medicare, Medicaid, and all those other useful revenue streams that we really rely on. So I think it's a good resolution and one that we should support, but whatever we're going to
And the segue from what Margaret was talking about Title I and what Lisa's talking about, Title I and different title grants are federally funded based on student demographics, based on demographics in public schools. And that money floats from Washington to the states, and then the states distribute it to the schools based on that formula. And the restrictions around the use of those funds are very severe, very strict, and are audited. So as you heard Margaret talk about Title I programs, those are for students who qualify for services above and beyond the standard educational experience that we provide from September to June. And we have paperwork we fill out. We have to fill out essentially a budget and a request for what we're going to use the funding for, so on and so forth. And there are districts are audited regularly. And I don't mean just audited, send in your budget, we'll make sure it jives with what we gave you, but show us the kids, how often they attended, proved to us that those kids qualify for Title I funding, So what's at risk are proposals in the federal budget to reduce title funding to states, which means states would have less title funding to give to school districts, which means we wouldn't have the ability to offer the robust supplemental programs that we just got done talking about. That's how this all comes together. So the resolution is pretty straightforward, and if we're comfortable with it, I know it's the first time we've discussed it publicly in the board meeting, but the board has seen it. I would,
Right.
if we're okay with asking for a motion to approve it, we could approve it tonight, and we have a cover letter in the form that Roseanne has that we could send on behalf of the board. Not the author of this, but this came from.
New York
State School Board Association.
So they're our voice of 700 plus school districts in Washington.
Thank you.
Okay, then can I please have a motion to support the resolution of Every Student Succeeds Act? Thank you. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Next, we have audience comments again. All right. And next, we have board comments or new business. I don't really think a lot of us have had our meetings yet. I did attend BV's PTA meeting and their showcase, and I was extremely impressed. There were children kindergarten to 5th grade with their parents working on coding, which just blew my mind. And the children were so engaged, the parents were so engaged, and I heard the most positive comments. So I thank Mr. Cohen and the teachers and the parents and the children for coming out Monday evening. And I don't know if anybody else has anything. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend Frank G's PTA meeting because I had a sick little child I had to watch. So
We're not talking about your husband.
no, not my husband.
Or your cats.
The little grandson. Does anybody have any comments that they'd like to add? Fine. Then.
Fine. Well, there.
Good.
But we are going to move into our board retreat work session.
Take a 5-minute break.
And we're
We're
going
going
to
to take a
break
very
and-
quick break and continue on the other side.